my pregnancy a secret because I wanted to make it to my second trimester first before I started telling everybody I was pregnant, because I didn't know whether I was going to have a miscarriage. I hadn't been to the doctor yet. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So we was just like, let us figure this out. Let's figure out where we're going to live, what we're going to do. Before we tell anybody. And so one day he came home from work and he just comes to the door and he was like, I told her. And I was like, I thought we weren't telling nobody, you know? So he broke my trust with that. That's when I started to realize that our relationship was going down the drain. He started talking about her heart condition. And, you know, I think when she found out I was pregnant, she started complaining about her heart condition. And her heart condition was a big thing inside of their marriage, because anytime he would try to leave, she would start talking about this heart condition again. And they went through like this traumatic situation with her heart. And she almost died in front of him and all of this stuff. So my thing was, I felt like she was just using that as a tool to get him to get closer to her. He was saying that that's the type of shit she does. So for me, it was just like, okay, now that she sees I'm pregnant, she wants him back. Wow. And I think that's when it started to get like different between us. And then the drama started. And then people on social media started to see, because we were posting content. So people on social media were starting to get into our business. And then that movement of men started whispering in his ear. So suddenly I have men contacting me telling me he dirty dick Rodney. He a guy that's sleeping around with a whole bunch of women and I need to leave him and just put him on child support. Right. So they telling me this, you know, and I'm like, I'm not just going, nah, I can't. You are outsider. You don't know what's happening inside of our relationship. So they couldn't get me to leave him. So they go to him. Try to get him to leave me. So she a hoe, that might not be your baby, such and such. So he's coming to me starting to say all of the things from that movement of men. He's starting to say the things that they say to me. Yeah. So I'm seeing a difference in this dude, and I'm just like, this dude is acting very different from how he would usually be. And then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Then one day, this is what ended it all. I noticed a pattern to where we have like this amazing week, and things were going too well. Like it would be like we have 5 good days, and then suddenly he's pick an argument with me, and he was doing this, and I was like, "Why the fuck does this man keep doing this?" He tried to leave like 3 times. He kept saying he needed space, and I was like, "Okay." Now I'm just like, "Well, I'm like, you know, whatever." He would go, and he would come back on his own, and he did that 3 times, and then one day. He hit me up from work. And he's like, I got something to tell you. And I was like, okay. My mother over here yelling at me. You hear my mama?
No, I hear.
Yelling at my son. My son, she chasing my son. Anyway, I don't know what he's doing. So he says to me, I don't want our baby. I don't know how I feel about you.
What?
And I think you should put our son up for adoption, and I want to get back with my ex. And I was just like, what about me? He was just basically like, what about you? And I was just like, did this nigga just turn into like a whole new dude? Like, who is this dude? Because the dude I know would never, what is this? And he was like, I'm just telling you how I feel. I was like, okay, well, fine. Just come get your things out of the host. Because by this time, I started paying for I started trying to find other ways to generate money. So I started asking for donations online. I was doing graphic design. So by this time, I needed stability because I was pregnant. I couldn't be sleeping in the back of a Ford Explorer. So by this time, I'm like paying for all of the hotel rooms myself. Because before he wasn't kicking into gear. His mind was on sleeping with women and women at his job. And he would come home from work talking to me about women from his job. And I kept saying, you should be thinking about how much money, extra money you need to be making so we can move somewhere. We about to have a baby and you if you're talking to me about the women at your job. I don't hear about these goddamn women. I want you to tell me what your side hustle is so we can get out of these hotels. But he didn't do that. So I had to start kicking into gear. Mind you, I'm sick as hell. Remember, I'm pregnant. So I'm a first trimester. I'm sick as hell. And I'm doing graphic design and doing side hustles to pay for a hotel room by myself. So I'm asking for donations. He comes to get his stuff. He leaves. Next thing you know, my hotel room phone is ringing off the hook. He done told people where I'm at. The hotel lobby people knocking on the door. They knock on the door in the middle of me doing a live stream, telling me they heard I was gonna kill myself. Come to the door with a security person.
What?
Like a not a security person, 2 police officers and the security from the hotel. Like, we're knocking on your door because someone called us and told us that you just killed yourself on live stream.
Huh?
Yeah, this was the shit that was happening. And nobody knew where I was but him. So
wow.
he's starting to make my life screwed up because he done joined the movement of men that's harassing and stalking me. So
that's crazy.
So he telling them all types of stuff, and he teamed up with them. Now he done created a YouTube channel. On his YouTube channel is him talking all of this negative shit about me, posting all of our text messages. So now I gotta respond to that stuff. So, and I'm doing this pregnant. So I'm getting on live streams. I'm asking for donations. I'm homeless. I'm in a hotel, homeless, asking for money, and I need food because I ain't got nowhere to go. I can't go back to where the investment property that I used to live in, excuse me. I'm about to cry. I'm sorry. The investment property that I used to live in, I can't go back there. Wow. I can't step backward. I'm pregnant. So I raised $10,000 in crowdfunding and I moved to California. And I ain't turned back since.
So how old are you during this time, and how old are you, and how far along pregnant were you in your pregnancy at this time?
My son was born in 2018. Okay. In November, I left Atlanta November 2017.
Okay. So you had the baby out in California.
I had the baby out in California. He's never met our son.
He's never met your son. Never reached out, anything of the sort.
Well, our families was trying to get us to, to get him to act right, because he's the only one that has been acting right. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he called me and said that he wanted me to pay child support. Like he wanted pay child. Not me. I'm sorry. He wanted to pay child support for me to put him on child support, right? Instead of me putting our son up for adoption. He got a better job now. He was unemployed last time I talked to him. He has a better job.
No, I'm talking about at this time that he's talking about putting him on child support, because.
No, back then he still had the $12 an hour.
I'm not trying to laugh. I'm sorry.
But listen,
my daughter's 17, huh? Go ahead.
I know. I was making $12 an hour when I was like in high school. Yeah. I think I was making 15 because I was working at a law firm. My daughter's 18. She said she would not go anywhere for less than $14 an hour. Yeah, I'm not just with that. No. I wouldn't do that.
And this is my thing. A $12 an hour type nigga is easily swayed. A $12 an hour type nigga ain't the type of person that's gonna make decisions on their own. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna go with the wind every time. I ain't going to work for nobody for $12.
But what I'm telling you,
I put it in the. She was 38 during that time, right?
Yeah, I was 38. I'm 42 now. He's 38. His estranged wife was 8 years older than us.
Okay.
And he didn't have a GED or a high school diploma, so he couldn't get something more than that. He could only afford something. Like who's gonna hire somebody?
Let me tell you, you can go and cut grass. You can go and cut 5 yards and make, you know what I mean? I mean, that's just a different type of mentality. You understand what I'm saying?
But that's the type of man I was encouraging him to be. We would talk about business. Gotcha. We would talk about him starting another business and him getting his high school diploma. I was encouraging him to be a better man. But you can't believe in someone who don't believe in themselves. Like it take him to go out there and do that stuff. No matter how much I try. Like, I'm an empowerment type person. Like I motivate.
Absolutely.
That's what I do. That's what I do for a living. So that's what I did with him.
Gotcha. And I see it. And to me, that sounds like that's where you went wrong. And you're being penalized for trying to do what you thought was right. Now, because the easiest thing Corey talking about, she got a question, but a very serious question. So I'm waiting on that question to come through. But the easiest thing that would have been to me, seems like, Soncerae, is when y'all met at that lounge on that day. And you found out once he said he was married and wasn't divorced, even if he was just separated, the easiest thing would have been to walk away then.
Yeah, I should have just stopped talking to him.
Yeah, I should have just stopped talking to him.
I shouldn't even be his friend or anything.
Yeah. Because she's stupid. Somebody said, was he light skinned? Don't do me like that.
Yeah,
Hi, Master Viper. He was?
He was light skinned.
Lord. So tell me what that means, women, since somebody said
the light skin was be the problem.
Really?
I don't usually date light skinned guys.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. Every person, I think out of that one guy that I told you was like the ringleader from the male movement of men who hate black women, he was dark skinned. But every single man who has given me a problem online ever since then, who has screamed the loudest about me and spread the most lies and rumors, they've been light skinned.
Wow. All right, so let's talk about this because everything. I mean, this has been bad. People have empathized with you. You know, some of them. Catherine has a group that she called "I'm Sorry That Happened to You," and in that group, she talks about a lot of people who've been molested in their families, and they kept it silent. You know, and they protected the accuser. I mean, the offenders and all that. So she really those. So my people are feeling you. You know what I'm saying? That so not everybody's, like I said, I want to try to put nobody in a coffin or bury somebody who's already been buried before. So that's the last thing. But I applaud you for, number one, breaking away when you realize, because he was wrong as two left shoes. If you had a baby by a married man, the married man is just as complicit as anyone else. Somebody asked me, is this panel open? Are you comfortable with that?
Here's what I'm not comfortable with, because the reason why I haven't spoke about this or done a panel before, because I tried to do one when I was pregnant with my son, and people just kept disrespecting me. Okay. Hey, out. Thank you. I don't want nobody seeing your diaper. So, people was disrespecting me. I just don't want to be disrespected, and I don't want to argue with nobody. Oh, we don't do arguing. We don't do arguing over here. Somebody named, I don't know who Master Viper is, but Master Viper saying she's not telling the whole story. So I don't know. That's one of the trolls. They call themselves the Viper Pit. Gotcha. So that's not somebody I would want to. But this is your forum, so we don't necessarily. I'm not, because they part of the problem. Gotcha. Like, I have no reason to be dishonest about my situation. It's my situation. Like, that's another thing. People who are strangers and haven't been in my situation will try to tell me that I'm lying about my situation. You don't know my situation. James saw the interview with my son's father and his estranged wife and the other dude. He's seen it. I told him to do research before he interviewed me so he could have a different perspective. The problem with people who want to classify me as a liar is they don't have the intellectual ability to be able to understand or comprehend, because they're coming from a place of, number one, emotional ignorance. That's number one. They don't have the empathy. Like, it seems to me like the people who have the most negative things to say about me, it isn't about the story. They're not even concerned about the story. They just don't like me. They don't want to see me say the truth or speak my truth or feel what I feel. They don't have any empathy for me. They think I'm just, just the person that they hate. You know what I mean? Well, listen, let me tell you. First of all, look at me. Look at me. Lift up your head. I'm on your team. So don't worry. I don't worry about all the other stuff. I don't worry about, because I'm gonna tell you why. No, let me just say this. Let me say this. First of all, it takes two to tango. Okay? It takes two to tango. And if both people were complicit in that relationship, then that's all it is to me. And at the end of the day, a little boy was born. At the end of the day, 4 years later, you've moved to San Francisco. I mean, wherever you live. I don't know. I don't know. LA, Sacramento, wherever you told me. I forgot. But wherever you moved to, I just know it's in California. And it's 3 hours behind us. And at the end of the day, you're raising that baby. I could care less about, if I stay stuck in my past, I'll never get to my future. I would never get to my future if I stay stuck in the past. And I'm going to tell you something, Master Viper. I don't know you very well, but it's a very vindictive person that sticks a knife in a dead body. And when she started off this show tonight, she said that I am part of the blame for the attack that has taken place on me on the internet. So to me, that's somebody falling on their own sword. Now, bro, woman, man, whatever, I don't know what you are, but whatever it is, if you feel like you got to go and stick a knife in a dead body, you do that. You do that. If that makes you sleep at night, I'm going to bed tonight, and I'm going to go to bed based on this conversation. Now, here's the powerful part to me, Soncerae. Guess what? After you slept in the back of a Ford, after you got left in a hotel room by a married dude,
okay, that had a baby, because a married dude had a baby with a single woman. He's not the victim in this situation, in my opinion. Okay, so a married dude, nigga, if you can, sorry, bro, if you can't see it, like, yeah, I just said it. She just said she didn't fake her death. You just missed that. If you rewind the interview, you'll be able to see it a little bit more. But at the end of the day, and dead body is a metaphor. You got to be able to think beyond. That's why they call this the intellectual stew. You got to think the dead body was a metaphor. It wasn't a real dead body when I said that. So, but we're on a whole nother show right now. But Soncerae, keep your head up. Listen to me. You rebounded. You're in California. You're taking care of your son. You got your mom with you. You're doing well. Forget how many people you know died in what they were in. They couldn't bounce back.